Imagine if I told you that your greatest challenge isn't a mistake, but a necessary part of your journey. What if the very thing that's destroying you could also be the key to your transformation and salvation? It's not just a matter of everything happening for a reason. I'm talking about a more fundamental, unyielding force of fate that would make you wonder if you truly exist. Exactly like the story of Samurai Jack unfolds. You don't need to worry about knowing him or not, let's just roll with it. You're born with a purpose, just like everyone else. But I'm not saying life has a predetermined meaning. That's for each person to figure out and create for themselves. From childhood on, we're conditioned to believe we're meant to be something specific, a student, a professional, an artist, or a thinker. We're given labels, roles, and destinies. Samurai Jack is no exception. He was born to defeat Aku. That's his sole purpose. He was trained, molded, and set on an irreversible path. But here's the problem: when your existence relies on eliminating your opposite, you become dependent on it. For those familiar with the story, Aku sends Jack to a distant future where he controls everything. Jack's challenge wasn't just to defeat Aku, but to survive against time itself, a time that doesn't belong to him. In this context, the hero has become a stranger in his own narrative. And it's here that the true problem emerges. Unwittingly, Jack is trapped. For him, time is not a linear progression, but a cyclical loop. This echoes the cyclical nature of archetypes, where experiences are replayed with personal twists. It's about living, being, and existing with our unique perspectives and individualities. We all share common experiences, like childhood, but each in our own way. Within these forms, there are subforms. Being a child is general, but think of the variations: rebellious, submissive, or devoted children. You likely know someone who gave up their life to care for another. This is a pattern repeated throughout history. Within it, individuality emerges through unique experiences, perspectives, and motivations. Yet, the core narrative remains the same. It's like saying, it's the same story. Jack's journey is one of struggle, failure, and perseverance. Each defeat brings him closer to the truth, but he's not a hero on a quest, just a part of a larger system. And this is where the story takes a surprising turn. If your purpose is actually a prison, can you really say that Aku is the villain? He's not just a demon, he's the embodiment of time itself. He transcends eras, corrupting the fabric of time past, present, and future. He's the underlying force that shapes destiny. Recall the myth of Cronus, who ate his own children to prevent being overthrown. A preemptive measure to ensure his own survival. Aku is trapped in this same paradox. The more he attempts to thwart Jack, the more Jack grows in strength, ultimately paving the way for his own triumph. But here's the question: if your adversary is time itself, how can you possibly hope to vanquish it? Jack ultimately triumphs, returning to the past to vanquish Aku before evil can take root. What a glorious conclusion! The dystopian future is averted, humanity is spared, and the world is saved. The quintessential hero rides in at the end, resolving all conflicts. What about Jack? He has no future. His timeline has been erased, taking with it everyone he knew, every pain he suffered, and every experience he had. It's as if he never existed, because what he fought to restore was never his to begin with. In the silence of a world that no longer needs him, everything vanishes. This story is both tragedy and warning. In analytical psychology, ego inflation by the archetype occurs when someone over-identifies with an archetype, losing their humanity in the process. Consider the person who can only be a giver or a rebel. They're stuck on one aspect of themselves, closing off other life possibilities. Jack was no longer a person, but a role. Remove the context, and what's left of him? It's like dedicating your life to a single goal: passing a test, reaching a milestone, getting married. You achieve it, but then what? You've poured all your life's energy into that one point. And I want you to think, what if you removed all the obstacles?